Well, here we go. We're ready. Just let it rip.
Okay, what's going on, guys? I guess Glendon, you could say this is kind of the first official show, right?
Right. Business talk with Abdul and Glendon.
Got it. All right, so I'm gonna get right into it, guys, with something that I think is very important when it comes to the business, and I want you to think about this as I'm talking about it. And this one is, who are you in the business? I mean, when I say who are you in the business, what I mean by that is, I don't know about you guys, but I like to talk to people. I'm kind of the I I'm kind of like the salesperson, kind of the I like talking to the people. Um, if you put me on the phone or you give me one on one, you put me in a behind video, I'm comfortable, right? I'm getting okay with marketing, but I'm learning as I'm doing in business. I'm learning that as time goes on, that I don't want to focus on everything. So I'm already sure that my VA will have to be trained in marketing skills. I don't like messing around the email inbox. Like, I hear a lot of entrepreneurs, they're always in the emails, and I don't like doing that kind of stuff. I like creating posts, but I don't necessarily like putting them in Facebook, or putting them in third party sites where you have to be boggled down with that. So basically, I don't like the little tasks. I like creating. I'm kind of like the guy that likes to sit on pillows, like Socrates, and I'm sure Plato and those guys did back in the days, and just do my thing, and that's what it's all about. Everybody is not going to be a jack of all trades. And I used to think, when I first started out, you want to do everything. You want to keep the costs low. You want to do this stuff. You want to bring somebody on. You be the manager. Even with and Glenda, I know you're the entrepreneur type, right? But when you had employees, I think I know the answer to this question. Did you ever have any problems firing people?
Nope. I was actually the hatchet man. My partner, she didn't like firing people, but I was the one that did it. I was the hatchet man. I don't know. It was just, it never really bothered me because we just didn't fire anybody to fire them, or it was always for cause. I mean, it was like the first time was NASA, and she was just doing all kind of crazy stuff. She was just wilding out. We had to like leave her in the store by herself, and she wouldn't do what she was supposed to. And I talked to her once, I talked to her twice. The third time, you out.
Really? So what was she doing? Was she just like slacking off or something like that?
We had hired her to post stuff on eBay, and
Got it.
she had a quota. And the thing is, she got real slick. And then she would crush her quota and then do nothing else and expect her hourly wage. She didn't know that I was checking on her because, remember back in the day when you had remote computer access where, you could take over someone's computer and move their mouse. And I saw what she was doing. And I was like, okay, she did real quick. What else is she doing? So I told her about that. She speeded up a little bit, but essentially, she just wasn't the right employee. It just wasn't the right employee.
Yeah. So if you had to guess, and I don't know how long she was there, what was her strength? What is something that you probably could see her doing? Was she an
She could do the
entrepreneur
job. It's
herself?
just, see, she was better suited to have her own business. One of the things about really smart people who have that thirst for freedom,
Okay.
chances are they're going to hack that job so they can do their job. And
Yeah.
that really goes against your productivity because you're paying them to work for their stuff when the pay is for them to work in your business, not to work on their stuff. And that's what she
Sure.
was doing. And
You
I mean,
know,
it's like I wasn't mad at her. It's just she needed to have her own business. That's what she really was. She had a lot of talent. She could do the job, but I think she got bored, honestly.
yeah. And it's so funny you said that. I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
Okay.
And I didn't know this until, actually, I just discovered this last week. I've always asked myself, did I get my entrepreneur side from my mom or my dad?
Okay.
And I was going back and forth. And I remember I want you to tell me too. I remember this story my uncles used to say about my mom and used to crack jokes. They said when your mom was young, she always wanted us to carry her in the wagon. Like she never wanted to pull anybody. She always wanted to sit in the wagon and be pulled. So one day they played a joke on her. They put her in the wagon and pushed her down the hill. And she started like, tumbling or whatever. But then this may sound like a kid story, but then I noticed something. She always wanted to get pulled. She was not, the worker type or manager type. She was the entrepreneur. Because I don't know about you, Glendon, but I sucked in the job market. If you wanted to hire an employee, I'm not your guy.
Right.
Maybe you were a good employee, but I was not because I was like, I wouldn't say I was like the one that you fired, but if I get bored, it's over. I'm staring off into space. If I'm not doing, if you put me at UPS and then you have to stack boxes or something, throw some boxes in the truck, I wouldn't be your guy. Because, you got some guys that just go in there and grab those boxes and start slinging them and piling them up. I would be talking, networking, doing all other things, but I wouldn't be the top box thrower in UPS. And I noticed a lot of other people I've talked to that are entrepreneurs are kind of the same way. What about you, Glenda?
I was an excellent employee, but the problem is I was still in the matrix. Worked hard. I never had any bad reviews for work, but it was an attitude issue. I remember one of my supervisors when I worked in the hospital, because it wasn't a patient. I was in a patient's room. It was her and her husband, and we just telling all kind of jokes and stuff, having a good time, right? Then I'm back downstairs. Then my supervisor comes to me and it's like, well, it was like inappropriate what you said. And I was like, I knew that the patient didn't report me because we were having too much fun. And she's like, well, one of the nurses overheard. And I was like, that was always some. When I went to PLDC in the military, rate your performance. It was just like, doesn't play with it. That's what someone wrote. Doesn't play well with others. I was like, damn. So even though I had a good work ethic, mentally, I just wasn't where people wanted me to be. I mean, I'll give you an example. Someone sent me a nasty gram about the Wheaties shirt on that video, how to start a business with no money in 2015. And it's just like you and your Wheaties shirt just going on about my Wheaties shirt. And I'm just sitting there like, you didn't even listen to the video. Mm-hmm. And that's how a lot of people are. They're so concerned with the presentation that they forget the substance of it. So that's one of the reasons I do my own thing, is because it allows me to be me. I walk around in t-shirts and sweatpants like 90% of the time. I mean, it's just how I roll, and I'm comfortable like that. But I could not do that if I had a traditional job. It just.
You said something very key right there. Every time I watch ESPN or the news or something, I get frustrated because I ask myself, when they get on like, hi, my name is Bob. I'm here today coming live from Florida. Look, I ask myself, is that them? Is when your boys are over and they crack the 6-pack and they're sitting in the living room, are you like, hi Bob, thanks for coming today. We're gonna have a round of festivities or whatever. Like corporate America and this whole thing that everything has to be all straight and your desk have to be, the pen has to be here and that, whatever. And I think they scare people. It's almost like people are in a military prison. So no one is themselves. Everybody's afraid to be themselves. Like to be yourself for the job is like unheard of. Unless you're like, in Silicon Valley or something like that, whatever, where they kind of applaud and welcome your creativity and innovation and things like that. I don't know. I just think a lot of people. So when they see the Wheaties shirt, they're probably like, "Oh, that's just so. I can't believe this is so offensive," or whatever. He's doing YouTube videos. He's supposed to be professional or whatever, But the people that make the most money on YouTube are the people who are unprofessional.
Exactly. Because you said something about the military. Corporate structure is based on military hierarchy. And that's why it's just like that. It's based on it. That's like the CEOs, they're called the chief executive officers. Officers. It's based on the military format. That's why it's like that. That's why, rank has its privileges. And when I got out the military, I sold my uniforms. So people like, I didn't even join the reserves. People are like, you don't join that? I'm like, no, you can get that easy money. I'm like, fuck it. I'm out.
No parts of it.
I'm done. I did my 6 years, and hallelujah, it's over.
Yeah, man, I agree. I mean, and what I've learned too, and I'm going to say this out there to the people, if you don't believe me, I'm dead serious. The more you can be yourself, the more money you can make.
True.
Especially when it comes to sales. Like, when I would do my offline sales, I probably came in contact with almost 100,000 people, many different types. And what I've learned is the more you can calm down and be yourself right away, the more they're respected. If you come to them and start shooting some sales terminology and stuff, whatever, they know that's not you. Like I told myself, if I was a cowboy and I was working at a car dealership, my outfit to work would be a cowboy hat, blue jeans, maybe a blazer, and a Western shirt, because that's who you are. You can pass by work sites and see a cowboy just standing out there. That's just who they are. So do we have any questions so far? If not, I'm gonna go into the next one.
Well done, because people want to know how to get stuff done. And let's see. All right, we got homeboy Chris in the room watching now. Glad I was able to catch this. Abdul's imitation of corporate America. Hi, my name is Bob. It's funny as fuck. I just quit my job yesterday, and this video totally resonated with me.
Congratulations, by the way.
Going to convert this to MP3. Nah, no questions, just comments. So yeah. Roll on.
Well, I want to talk. Is it homeboy Chris who left his job yesterday? Was that right?
No, it's Mr. Shoe Guy and Burns Media and Publishing.
Mr. Shoe Guy. Now, my question to Mr. Shoe Guy, and if you're there, respond or not, I'm just going to talk about it. I congratulate you on leaving your job, but I will say this, that, and Glenn, you may disagree with me. I don't know. One thing I notice about people who leave their jobs is a lot of times right away they get frustrated and they're gone. Boom, done with it. Congratulations, I walked out. But then they got to worry about eating. So my thing is, like, I hope my man hasn't left this job and now he's worried about how he's going to get pork and beans in the cabinet and eggs in the refrigerator. I hope that is not on his mind. I hope that he has a big chunk of pile of cash sitting to the side where he can just totally 100% focus on business. And being in his name is Mr. Shoes, right? Wasn't it right, Glenn?
It is Mr. Shoe Guy.
Mr. Shoe Guy.
Mr. Shoe Guy.
I hope that he's selling shoes.
Maybe you never know with these names. You never know with you have no clue, because you go to their channel and it's something completely different. Because I don't disagree with being prepared to quit your job. Matter of fact, I had a few videos about that, because the reality is, if you're starting a new business, like say you do what I did. When I left my last job, I started a business doing exactly what I was doing. So there was no learning curve or nothing like that. And then I took some clients with me, so I took some money with me. But if you were starting something brand new and you got this learning curve, I highly recommend going part-time, doing your business part-time for as long as you can, until you can get some money, till you get yourself positioned, because if you can leave and instantly start making money, that's one thing. But if you got to wait to make some money, that could be a problem. That can be a big problem.
Because a lot of the times that could translate to the customer. Like, you don't want to come off desperate.
Right. It's stress. That's stress.
Say, hey, I gave you what I'm offering. This is what I'm offering you. This is the value. You make the decision. I may be able to persuade you some, but I can't just make you pull out your wallet. But when you don't have any money and the landlord is knocking on your door downstairs, you're going to come off aggressive. Like, look, I need this money, buy this product. And you don't want to be that guy or girl. So, but yeah, so another thing.
He responded, he saw, I'm a reseller
Okay.
and content creator, and I do a bunch of stuff on the side. I planned this out for over the last year. So he didn't just jump.
Boom. I like that. Content creator. Okay. And it's not okay, so he probably doesn't do shoes. He's a content creator. But yeah, you're right. You can't really tell by the name, right?
No. No.
Because content and shoes don't really go together. But yeah, hey.
Well, you never know, because the thing is, like, if I knew what I know now, my name wouldn't have been Glendon07 for my YouTube channel, because I can't change it. I can change, the surface of it, but if you go to Social Blade, you got to put in Glendon07 to get any stats, and that's for everybody.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things I stress. You start a YouTube channel, think about that name long and hard, because you may get stuck with it. You may get stuck.
And that's kind of sucks too, that that you can't change the name. I never knew why you can't do that. That kind of sucks that because as people evolve and go into different things, man, sometimes that name needs to be changed like 2 or 3 times, or sometimes even more.
Yeah, you could change it on your Google Plus page, but when you have to look up the channel and do stats, you got to go to the About page and find out what their original name was, because that's in the URL of the channel.
Yeah.
And they can change the URL of the landing page, but the URL of the channel, once it's done, it's done. You cannot change that. And that used to be your name, but now, now this is a big question I get. How do you get stuff done? Because you have so many people who can't get started, and then when they get started, it's like they can't get stuff done.
For me, man, it's all about routine. Like I was talking to you a few weeks back, and I could tell the way your face was lighting up. You were like, "Look, man, I have a system," and you put emphasis on that, and that's what I'm in also, because the alarm clock goes out at 5. Right where I'm sitting next door, I have, because Glenda knows I just got a house, but right next door, there's one room, and only thing in that room is a prayer rug and a notepad. I go in there and I let all my negativity go, pray to the higher being, close my eyes, meditate, visualize. And whenever I used to say, oh, it's only going to last an hour. I put it like this. When I feel like I'm ready, I come back out of that room. And when I come out, I look at it like I'm ready for the day. Whatever happened yesterday is gone. That's the first thing I have to tell myself. It's gone. Whether bad or good is gone. What I do today is the only thing that's going to matter. So the morning routine for me is probably one of the most powerful things. But that happens because your night preparation before sets it up. So is the protein drink ready? To go ahead and gulp that down and get ready to head over to the gym. Stay away from the talkers. Dodge them, because they'll put about another hour, 2 hours on your
dude.
On your,
the other night when I was in the gym, there was some guys on the squat rack, and one would go somewhere and do something and text and come back, and they were doing alternative sets. It was so bad that one of the other regulars who was on another squat rack, he saw me and he was like, because he knew that they were not. He just knew that it was going. I got into my deadlifts because I was doing deadlifts. I was finished with my deadlifts, and then I finally got to squat rack, because at that point they were finished. I did 6 sets, and they were still. Yeah. And he go over here, and then they had to change the weight and stuff. And I was like, "This is why you come late at night. This is what, because you don't have to deal with that at 10 o'clock at night, or the sweet hours are like between 1:30 and 4. And you have a place to yourself, but." Yeah, I know what you mean about the talkers. They can have you in the gym an extra 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay, tell me if this sounds somewhat correct. What I've noticed about the gym is the people that go in the gym where they're waiting for the gym door to open and waiting on the key guy, those people right there, those are your CEOs, hard chargers, ready to go. They're out of the gym by 6 o'clock. Then the next group that comes in, they're semi-disciplined. They may chat a little bit. They're a little more conservative. They're not conservative, but a little more liberal. But then 8 o'clock, your partiers come in. 8, 9:30. The housewives, people that kind of you can tell I did a little study on this. People that just kind of like whatever. But then 11:30 lunchtime, that's your discipline, guys, because now you got to take off the corporate gear and go in and put your gym clothes on, because that means you have to prepare the night before. And then, after you get done, take a shower, then go back to work. And then, if you go like 4:35, man, you don't want to go in there. I'm surprised they don't have a DJ set up with his turntables.
I purposely avoid trying to go to the gym between 4 and 6 because it's rough. It's rough.
You don't want to do that. That's the gossipers. Like I said, the DJ with the turn. You might as well just set up some shots. You can have a bartender, everything they're doing that time. I don't really see nobody really that serious in that group. Now you may get some, but I mean, nah. If you're really serious about the gym, you wouldn't be going around that time. But yeah, I think it's all about routine, man. Like you gotta give yourself tasks to do, and not only tasks to do, give yourself a time limit with that task. Like you can't be saying you're gonna do some posts on Facebook, and that's a 30-minute job from you creating your posts, and then 2 hours pass. So you got to bring out the stopwatch. I got apps on my Kindle. Bring out the Kindle, and you got to set that aside and say, I'm doing this, and this is the time I'm going to set in to do this, and you honor that time. When that time is up, wherever you at, stop, and then go to the next task. And you got it. You have to be that way. One of the biggest things I get from people is that they don't have time. I'm like, come on, there's 24 hours in a day. Some of the wealthiest people in the world have that same amount of time. So how do they? And you can't say, well, I have kids. Some of those people have 7, 10 kids. Larry King got 7 kids, I think he does, or something like that, or had 7 kids. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's how I handle it. I mean, what about you, Glenda?
Well, I got the power of 6, and one of the things that I started doing is, because I don't know if you know about this, I don't work anymore on weekends, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle. It was a big struggle and I'm still adjusting because I was used to handling stuff as it came in, and then now I have to have a better process because I work less hours. So I've got, matter of fact, this is how I operate. I put up a few things on the sheet of paper, work on that until it's done, then create another sheet, and I just create these processes. There's something else that I was watching. I take way more breaks than I used to. Like this morning, I was working on, the $25 hustle. So I got the 4 modules up. I would do a module, get up and do some, come back, do another module, send out emails. So there was this whole process, because what I've learned is if you focus on one thing, you'll get more stuff done than if you're trying to do 20 things at the same time. Ooh. So like, going forward, I'm just going to focus on one course a day, and then maybe do a webinar and stuff like that, because that's just going to be a better workflow. But everything else is easy. It's like the things that I have to systemize is the business, because this is my off day from the gym. I worked out Sunday through yesterday, and I did two-a-days because I found this new thing that I'm doing. And this thing right here, this thing is scary. The Fitbit. Yeah. I started entering the food. It was like, damn, you think you eating all right? And then you put this in there and you're like, oh shit, that is not what I thought it was. It's supposed to be good, but it's actually horrible. Do you know that Chick-fil-A, Subway are worse than Waffle House in terms of calorie and sodium? That really? Shocked the shit out of me. Yeah.
And your Fitbit tells you that? Like, I mean, it has
there's this thing online where when you enter it into the dashboard, yeah, some of the food's already pre-populated, or you may have to go online and find out what's in it yourself. Okay. Like a Chick-fil-A cookie is 330 calories, one cookie. One.
Holy crap.
Whereas the Cobb salad with all the fruits and vegetables and chicken is only 440 calories.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you start entering the food and stuff, it's like, oh shit. It's just better information so you can make better decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like, damn, it exposes some of your beliefs, because I was just surprised because a lot of places you can still eat there, but you have to cut it way back, like way back. Because I can't do Subway except maybe once a week. That's it.
So you're saying eat a lot less of what you're thinking you're supposed to be eating during the day. Yeah, I agree.
Well, or you can go crazy with fruits and vegetables. You can literally eat 2 pounds of fruits and vegetables a day, and that may not even be 1,000 calories.
That's true.
But you can eat a little cookie like this, and that could be 300, maybe 500 calories in that bad boy.
Yeah. One guy told me a while back, he said one of the best things to get is eat on children's plates, kids' plates.
Well, you know what? You've traveled. Remember when you were in Europe? Remember when they brought the food out? That's exactly what it looked like. The portions of stuff are much smaller over there.
See, I didn't go to Europe. I thought you were going to say China. Like China, now they eat 6-7 times a day over there.
No, I went to Europe. They eat like that. Now some places they will bring the damn hog to you. Like in Hawaii, that stuff's huge. But I mean, but yeah, definitely you want to eat less, because like I said, I thought I was eating okay, but once I started looking at the calories and the ingredients and the sodium and stuff, it was like, okay, this stuff isn't okay.
Yeah,
it isn't okay. And it's just dealing with information, because I was just like shocked, just literally shocked when I started putting that stuff in there. But that's kind of part of the process, because once you have better information, that's how you get stuff done. Like, give you an example. I asked a few people to be moderators of the Facebook group, because if you notice, I'm not in there as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I used to go out and spend 2 to 3 hours a day curating content. Mm-hmm. And I've taken that time back, because I'm on the Facebook group, maybe an hour. I'll go in there, maybe 2 hours. Late at night, I'll do some stuff. But I've refocused that energy into creating courses and building stuff and marketing. And the results have been phenomenal. And it's the same time. Yep. It's the same time. So going back to what you said about getting stuff done, if you're busy, that's one thing, but if you're productive, that's another.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who are busy for 8 and 12 hours a day, and they don't get shit done.
Big one. Yeah, because I think a lot of, they call it busy work. Just doing something just because you're doing it. Just because you're on Facebook and you're there for 2-3 hours, which really, if you did it 2-3 hours, you should be able to knock out maybe 20 posts and be done for the week, kind of, or more.
This is
some
funny.
people go there.
Notice everybody's running the Facebook, right? Because you notice that all the people on social media, and you log in your Facebook account and you start seeing all these people and everybody got these ads. Yep. Everybody's on Facebook doing that stuff. I don't know. I don't do Facebook advertising. Okay. But what I have noticed is the less time that I spend on Facebook, the more money I make.
No,
okay. I've cut it back quite a bit.
What do you mean by that? When you say the less time you're doing something productive on Facebook, or what do you mean, like posting?
Well, the thing is, if you want to post on Facebook, there's all kind of tools where you don't even have to actually be on Facebook. I do my own posting.
I use those.
Yeah. I don't really do, because I've pulled back and I've changed how I do stuff. But essentially, some days I would literally log out of the app on my phone, log out on my computer, and just work, and I just get more done. Facebook is intentionally sticky. All right, how many times have you been posting something on Facebook and then you saw something on this feed, and next thing you know, 5-10 minutes just slipped by just like that? It's like a trap.
Yeah. Now you may get this one. I love helping people and doing things, but I'm only one person. So sometimes when I get on Facebook, I have to be very careful, because I get a lot of people that'll ask me a lot of questions. They'll be like, "Hey, how's it going? Like, how's your day?" And if you say, "Oh, it's great. Oh, by the way,"
I only answer I got 2 Facebook pages. I answer, a lot of people say thank you or send me links, and I'll look at those. But folks who are asking all kind of questions, I was like, I'll just give them a very simple answer, because if you get into that 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 message link, it's 30, 40 minutes is gone, and you can't do that. Like you said, you're just one person. Half your day can be gone just doing that stuff, and you're not being really productive. You're helping one person, and the question is, do you want to help one person or do you want to help many people?
Yeah.
And the more people that you help, the more money that you make. Because I was telling you, I'm done with consulting. I did my last client last week, and I told him, I was like, this is over. And if you feel the urge, the new rate is 5,000. And her eyes just went, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see. Because I find it more fulfilling to do these courses, because I just help way more people. It's just way more. And it's also a time thing, because consulting is very draining if you're doing it right. You're giving so much of yourself. You're pushing people. Like, maybe I'll do group coaching, but for right now, I'm done with consulting. It went well, but I'm done with it.
And I think I asked you this question before, Glenda. Like, Gary V is like killing it in the Facebook space. Would you hit Gary V up and be like, look, Gary, let me ask you a few questions? Would you do that?
Oh, I wouldn't do it. I'm quite sure people do it because, he's got that thing, Ask Gary V, but I think people understand that they have to get in line. But he's a very interesting character, because he does a lot, but he has this huge staff of 660 people.
It's a lot of people. And I never knew he was that big with that much staff, to be honest.
Yeah, he's got 660 people, 600 people working for him. Wow. And with that comes a lot of managers, a lot of layers.
Yep.
So he just likes working. He can go to London for a month and do nothing and come back and have money. So he's got this system, because one of the things, like, I pulled back on being everywhere and doing everything with social media, because, the big thing now is Periscope. And I was doing it for a minute, and then I realized it's almost creating this, it's like a drug habit. Oh, here's Periscope. There's someone on talking about much and nothing for about 5 minutes. Then you go away. Oh, here it is again. And I'm just like, I didn't like that level of engagement, or the tapping on the phone and the hearts and stuff. And I know there's some people who are making money with Periscope, but I made a decision. Everyone was going to Periscope. I started doubling down on YouTube live events, these hangouts, the live stream, and the setup event. And I'm glad I did, because there's a lot to learn with that stuff. So to me, I think a live event on YouTube has more stickiness and reach than than the Periscope thing, because if it's good, you can share it, you can argue. There's so many things you can do. And this is something else a lot of people don't know. When you do the live stream, it gives you the ability to run a commercial.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
And it's amazing the difference it makes in your AdSense. The shit shocked me, because I saw this huge spike, and I was like, what happened that day? And then it happened again, and I had to go, oh, it was the days I did the live events. And I wasn't running like a lot of commercials, 1 or 2. And then it was such a huge difference in AdSense revenue. It was shocking. So that's letting me know that YouTube is putting a lot of weight on that, and I'll do more. But part of how to get stuff done is to understand what you're trying to do in the beginning. Because I know it's going to sound crazy, a lot of the stuff that I was doing did nothing to affect the bottom line. Nothing. So I started chopping stuff, like the consulting thing. It's cool and it's fun, but I'm looking at it. Is that the best use of my time right now? And the answer is no, it really isn't.
Look, man, the best way I heard that, I saw that being done, I paid for this 1-day class to hang out with this coach, right?
Okay.
So literally, she got on the phone, she talked for an hour, she gave value, talked for an hour. And in order to get on the phone, you have to pay, and then you get a link sent, and then Boom, now you're on the line. All the lines are muted. She already had picked out maybe 2 or 3 people she was going to talk to at the end. And then at the end of the conference call, she literally said this: "Okay, guys, I'm going to talk to you later. I'm getting ready to go shopping." Like, it was about maybe 200 and some people on a call. The call was $49 or something like that. And boom, just in that 1 hour time, made that and went off by her business. And probably she made the call in the mall parking lot, you know?
Yeah, like the group coaching thing, I may do that because the thing is, what's my core goal here? Freedom. And if anything interferes with that freedom, it's got to go. Because, and also with the systems and the formats, like another thing, like I was doing these live events for training. I'm not going to do those that way anymore. I'm going to go back to go to webinar and then just set it up, because there's going to be stuff coming next week. Because today's Thursday. I mean, this week just flew by. But
yeah, it's Thursday.
Just creating these processes and working on the courses and working on the platforms. It's like when I do that stuff, the results are just crazy out of proportion to the amount of effort.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, because somebody like sent me an email. It's like, hey, you're still in the group. You don't post as much as you used to. This is not profitable. I'm trying to put out better content and better articles. And I know that one day I spent a day asking 4 questions, and that was a lot of engagement. I felt that was more valuable because I'm seeing a lot of stuff. I've been doing this since 2009.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see, I know a lot of the players. I know when someone's new, and building a tribe, building an organization, and being consistent is just so much better than, because you got people who can come online and make 100 G's in a month after maybe 3 months. Especially if they get in one of these coaching programs and if they get hooked up with the right people. Because if you like get introduced to Pat Flynn and Pat Flynn says, hey, this person's good, that's money. That's instant money. And that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's short-term stuff. And a lot of people don't care, because one guy, he's making $200,000 a month and he knows it's not going to last forever, but he's investing like 70% of what he makes.
Oh, wow. That's
yeah,
smart.
he lives real simple and stuff. So these people know that it's not going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you build a tribe, because look at Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is what, 40 years in the game now?
Yeah.
He's built his thing. He's built this thing that's durable and timeless. And that's my model, because Tony can disappear for a few years, then come out and fill up a stadium.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He can do that for 2 or 3 years, because he wasn't really doing a lot. Then he introduced his book and started talking to people, and then instantly he was on Good Morning America. He was just, because he's got it like that. He's built himself this platform and he's built this legacy. And that's what I look at, because a lot of this stuff that can be gamed, like, take YouTube. You know how people like leave likes and dislikes on your video?
Yep.
YouTube does not put that into the factor of the weight of your channel. It means nothing to YouTube.
Nothing.
Because it can be gamed.
But the person that's doing it is like, I'm getting them.
Oh, I hate you. I hate you. You should die. That stuff right there. And I'm just, what cracks me up is when someone leaves a dislike and they haven't watched the video.
Yep, right away. Maybe 10 seconds. Dislike. And like I think I told you, but then you could just do a couple of things and find out the area they're in, and then boom, okay, that's that person. And then usually you can identify who that person is right away. That's a really person that hates your channel and hates your guts, is the person that dislikes it in 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, and all mine are mostly in the middle of the night, because I put up a video early in the morning, don't really see nothing. Mm-hmm. And then about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, that's when it starts happening.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. The time's always the same. And the thing is, I don't have as many as I used to. Oh, I used to have a whole platoon, but now it's just crazy people.
But see, just to even, and I'm not going to put a lot of time there. I'm just going to say this real quick. The person that has the time to come to your channel and dislike you and have all that hate or whatever, my question is, are you working on your own brand? Like, it takes time to do that. Energy. And you're giving all that negative energy to go over and snoop and even though that person said 100% truth, he said love, 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 love all over the video. Dislike. That's a lot of energy right there. Wasted.
We got a guy in the group who had a stroke not too long ago, and I put up a GoFundMe videos like, hey, this brother needs some help. He's down. Please donate $5. If you donate $5, I'm going to give you an offer on some stuff. No promotion, nothing. Someone disliked that video. Dude had a stroke, trying to raise him money for a stroke. I mean, he's in a wheelchair with the hand that's paralyzed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And someone's like, oh, I hate that. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Who is that person?
You got to be kidding. But this is what people do. I think they get so carried up because in the theme of having a purpose and building your life and building your business, because there was some stuff that went down on my personal page. I didn't even know about it because I was so busy working on stuff that someone had to tell me that it went down. Like when people are talking about stuff or leaving stuff in comments about me, I never see that stuff from observing or being there. It's always someone's like, hey, you should go check this video out. They're saying this and they're saying that. That's how I found out about it because I don't look. And it's really strange because you said something that was real key. You cannot spend your precious life force hating on somebody. It is a big, I see it all the time. I see people get caught up in it. And it's key. Like if you're doing all that stuff, how can you be working on your business?
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Glendon, but one thing I've learned, because in business, you got to create. There is no you walk in your office and grab the coffee and there's the work you need to do for the day. You got to create. And if I get in a negative area, let's say if I'm staying with somebody and a husband and wife are arguing or the dog is barking or just some drama going on, that affects my creativity. A lot of times I can't shake that off. So I've learned I have to be in positive environments in order to just keep moving positive. So I ignore a lot of that.
I've started to ignore stuff because, my first 2-3 years on YouTube, I used to get into it. The response videos, like they make the disc rap, what is it? What is it? A disc tape or a disc? Mixtape, a disc mixtape. I was doing the disc videos and talking about people and stuff. And then one day I realized it's like you're spending more time with these fools than the people who are actually paying you. And I was like, I stopped instantly. I just stopped it because I had someone else who was like supposedly calling me out. And this is something else that cracks me up. When you got somebody that's doing something, and let's say professionally or whatever they're doing, they're here, and then you got someone down here who's calling them out. Who does the call out really benefit if this person answers? This person who's down here instantly goes up to here.
Yep.
It's no benefit to the person being called out unless, it's something egregious or you're a congressman and you got to deal with it. But I looked at that and I was just like, give you an example. There was this dude who's doing all kinds of stuff. He may still be doing it. I don't know. And I went to his channel. He had 2 videos about me, only one about him. And the one about him said, hey, this is my first video on YouTube, and there'll be many more. And I was just sitting there like, why do you have more videos about me on your channel than you have about yourself? What is that? So at that point, when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is what you're dealing with. And then I just moved on because one thing I've noticed and here on YouTube and pretty much is there are many people who flip-flop. There was a bunch of folks with giving another example of fuckery. This is totally fuckery. I'll never charge for information, right? Just I'll never charge for information. Information should be free, right? A year and a half later, guess who had a paid product and then had enough attitude to get mad at people who were like, you're a hypocrite.
That sounds like some Dimcat stuff right there, man.
I was like, damn. I mean, it was like, I'll never charge. And they was talking about me. And then I put in the video maybe 2 years ago. It's like, this person wants to do what I'm doing, but can't figure it out. And damn it, they tried to do it. And see, this is something else too. When you plant these hate seeds, You forget that everybody's not stupid.
Yep.
And every time this person puts a video up, he gets, hundreds of dislikes. Now they don't really mean anything, but from a ego standpoint, you got person after person. Like you really the hate army. It's like hate, 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 right? The hate army. And I'm just like, that's something that they brought upon themselves.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, there was days that I wanted to do the diss video and just talk about people. And I said, remember that day you had that epiphany that you were spending more time with fools versus with the people who were paying you.
Yep.
If you keep doing that, people are going to stop paying you. And then I just straightened up and left it alone. Because I ignore a lot of shit unless it gets egregious. Because I've actually threatened to sue people. Because I sent this guy the cease and desist letter, and he lost his damn mind. Because this is the thing, people don't understand. YouTube is a corporation.
Yeah,
it's not because people take the First Amendment. You can say whatever against the government. You can, not everyone else.
Yeah,
and people get caught up with that. But part of one of the things I've learned is endurance. Because if you keep doing your thing, you keep putting stuff out, you keep being true. Because, like I said, the flip flop thing. I'm seeing a lot of people flip flop. There's like, I would never sell information because information is a valuable commodity. And I think people marginalize online information because it's so ubiquitous. It's like you can get it here, you can get it here. So since it's so widespread, but like take my dating course, disruptive mating.
Yeah.
Every dude that takes that comes out and like, damn, I didn't know this shit. And it's the thing is when you have lived a certain way, because you've seen some of the stuff that I used to do, and dudes were just like, how the hell did you do that? And it's a whole mindset and it's a whole philosophy. But if you're out in someone else's backyard and you're not doing your work, you have no goals, you have no plan, it's very easy for life to pass you by. Because you know what scares the shit out of me?
What's up?
I don't want to be 95 years old and realize I didn't matter in this world.
That's a big one.
And if you spend your time fighting with people, hating on people, dissing people, starting hate campaigns, hate, doing all that stuff, you are wasting your time for your legacy because you got all this stuff going on. And the thing is, I just looked at it and I was like, because the thing is, all of these petty fights and stuff, at the end of your days, you ain't even remember this shit unless you're a Clampett or some, the Hatfield and McCoy. You ain't gonna remember this stuff. You're gonna remember how you lived and you're gonna remember was you happy and is anybody gonna be around you when your ass die? Because a lot of people die alone. Just knowing nobody. And they used to be, when I worked in the hospital, that used to be so sad that, so-and-so died last night in a hospital room with nobody there. And that happens. And, it's you got to build this life and you have to include people. And one thing I like about YouTube is, many people hate it, but sooner or later they straighten shit out. And there's this new thing, because I don't know if you noticed it, a lot of people are losing their channels. Well, they're not losing their channels, they're losing money because YouTube's got this new policy that's going to go in effect sometime this month. So they're looking at channels a certain way, and you've got huge channels who they can't monetize their videos. You got folks getting 100,000, 200,000 views a video, and they can't put any money to one guy put up a video. It's like they're about to on the brink of bankruptcy because they took their monetization away. And I looked at that and it's like it made me feel so good that I never really. I mean, like I said, I'll tell you, I get $750 to $1,000 a month from AdSense. But if I lost it, my life wouldn't change because it ain't enough to live on anyway.
Off of that, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
it's not enough to live on anyway, and I use it as a marketing budget. But the whole thing is, I think that's a very bad way to have your, to depend on your income because, like say this channel, say it disappears tomorrow. I would have to rebuild, but I could rebuild. Yeah, and I could rebuild. Took me 5 years to get 20,000 subscribers. Knowing what I know now, I could probably do that in a year. It would still be a year, but I could rebuild that quick. And that's the thing. Strategy. Yeah, because that's why I'm like, because many people like to compare YouTube to eBay and Amazon. It's not. It's comparing like Pluto to Saturn. I mean, yeah, they're both planets, but one's bigger than the other one. One will kill you on if you. Well, I guess they both will kill you if you land on it without a spacesuit. But YouTube is more of a. It's the only platform I know of online that you can use and make money from for free.
Yeah.
None of the other ones work like that. And you got some people who are talented. They got a certain thing about them. And that's the whole thing about, how you get stuff done. Because as you start getting stuff done, you get more dots to connect, more information to put into your craft, your work, whatever you're doing. But many people get caught up in the fuckery parade. Like I said, I've been there myself, and I've had many times I had to like, ooh, there's the fuckery float, right? And I just like, I can't get on it. I want to get on it, but I can't get on it because it's like, ooh. Oh. It's like, whoa, because it's just seductive. Fuckery is seductive. Like, I don't watch certain shows. Like, I've never seen an episode of Empire. I don't watch Scandal. There's other shows I just don't watch because just like you eat bad food and it messes up your body, you consume bad mental food and it messes up your mind. Totally. Just so I've really cut back. I mean, I'm a Netflix junkie. I don't have cable. I got one of those hot HD antennas. I only get 16 channels.
Yeah.
Because I don't spend a lot of time watching television. I watch television on the weekends, and it's usually movies or now it's football season. That's pretty much it. I do more reading than anything, or watch a lot of YouTube.
And that's the thing, Glendon. That's why a lot of people don't have time. If they cut out the Empire, the Scandals, and all those footballs and all these other things, that's at least that could be about an extra 20-30 hours a week.
I know. Huge.
Yeah,
huge. We're talking about even on the 20 hours a week, that's 80 hours a month.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time to build a business. Even if you have a full-time job, that's 80 hours a month that you could be investing into something that makes you money.
Exactly. Whether that's a book, your system, marketing, knowledge, whatever it is. I see we have about 8 minutes. You want to see, do we have any questions in the room before we sign off?
Let's see. Let me check it out because I think there was a bunch of comments. Sometimes it leaves the comments when it converts, and sometimes it gets rid of them. No questions because, like I said, a lot of folks didn't know this was going to be a regular thing because, like, we'll probably, like I said, we'll do this again next week, and we're just going to let the format develop because, you got a bunch of videos, I got a bunch of videos, and this is just kind of like a conversation, and we're just going to open this up, and I'm going to make a separate playlist for this too. I'll do that, probably on the second version because there's a lot of stuff we can do. I started reaching out to people for the show. And that's something else too. It takes a lot of time and energy to line up people. A lot of people say yes, and then you have to chase them down. And some people say yes, and they're like ready the next day. So what I want to do is get us some good guests for some books because I'm finding out authors who wrote a book a few years ago, and the book's still awesome. They're easier to get a hold of, and they're really down for it. So.
Yeah, I actually got a guy lined up. He actually lives here in my city. Matt Golson is his name. He just wrote a book called The Email Demystified or something like that. But anyways, 7-figure dude. He's been an entrepreneur on fire and all this. And I was just at an event and just happened to talk, and you told me about this. And I was like, you've been on the internet business, mastery, entrepreneur on fire? But we're going to go out to lunch because not that I'm going to use people. There's nothing wrong to take a person that you can benefit from to lunch, pay for the meal and talk to them and get to, network, which is something that I have to be honest, I really wasn't fond of, but now I'm learning to do. Networking is huge.
It's really huge. I mean, it's the difference between some people being successful and not, because the people that I mostly close to, I met at an event somewhere at some point. And I only met them once, but I got a feeling of like who they were. Now that's something else too, because everyone's been on me about doing events here in Atlanta. So I'm probably going to put one on next year, maybe toward December. So that's going to happen. But the whole thing is just get deep into the creation of content and finding, because there's a lot of jewels online. There's a bunch of people who have amazing books, amazing courses, and like nobody knows about them.
Yeah. Well, I tell you some of that. Like for instance, this guy, he's kind of an introverted type, but I can't really see him like really commanding that screen. Like maybe some people are kind of shy. Like, hey, I can hide behind here and write this book. Like you have both. You're an introvert, which you talk about, but you're I think you're probably 50-50 if I'm not mistaken.
I took the test. I'm a 4. I'm like right in the middle of the scale.
Really?
And incidentally, those are the best salespeople. It's like you're not too up, you're not too down. You can be reasonable. And it's weird because there's a group of folks who knew me when I was in sales, and they all thought I was an extrovert.
Same here. I come off as an extrovert to some people.
But it's pretty interesting. It's really interesting.
But see, just to add to that, see, I come off as an extrovert, and I used to think I was one, but then I was like, why do I withdraw? Why, when people, their energy comes to me, I'm just like, like I'm in a new neighborhood. And the first day I'm here, here comes a neighbor and he's like, hey, how's it going? And I'm thinking to myself, conversation is going to be very short because I don't want you to come over here knocking on my door, seeing me in the yard, and you want to have a conversation. So I'm going to cut real short. Hey, how's it going? He said, oh, my wife, I was walking a dog and past his house, and he said something real quick, and I was walking as he was talking to me. And I'm not rude. It's just that sometimes people's energy to me can be draining.
Yeah, some people want a lot more than you're prepared to give at that moment. And that's just one of the things. And that's why I love this internet life, because I got a 97-year-old Aunt Bunny, and I was explaining to her, she's really sharp. I mean, she's real sharp. And she makes jokes, when I was out there. She's like, you know how you boys do them girls like that, leave them all wanting and wet and stuff. Yeah, she's 97, but she said that. I was like, I'm not messing with you today. I'm not messing with you today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be too much, because I was thinking about bringing her on because she's funny as hell.
Hey, that's just, when you said that, I was just getting ready to say that. Bring her on.
She is funny as hell.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, she's 100% her.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it is interesting. But for the folks here, I'm gonna do a little housekeeping. Just hold on a second.
Yeah.
Because I meant to do this in the beginning, but I forgot. Hold on. Yeah, it's crazy because I told the folks that I was going to do this thing, and I was going to change the price of this course. Yeah, let me do this real quick.
Yeah,
I'm going to. Okay, for those of you who are still here, the $25 hustle, what it is $658. I'm gonna just let this roll until later on the night, the first thing in the morning, because I said I was gonna end it at 6, and then I said I was gonna end it once this show was over, and I did not hit it at the beginning of the show because we were having so much fun. But this course right here, it will be $25 until later on the night, first thing in the morning. So you got plenty of time to get in there. Then we're gonna have live Q&A webinars. We're not gonna do the YouTube thing. It's going to be going back to GoToWebinar. You'll have to sign up, and we'll have these webinars on a designated date. The first one is Monday, October the 12th at 8 p.m. So that's that. We did a little housekeeping. The link's below, so you can get that. So you got any words in pardon before we get out of here?
Well, I just want to say to the true entrepreneurs out there, work on your system, work on your routines, put that together. And don't wake up and just, hey, I need to do some work. Make sure your work is strategic. That's my advice.
Hey, that's a good point to end on. So, all right. Thanks for everybody that came out tonight. We will be back next week. So just get on the email list, and I'll let you know, and I'll shoot you an email maybe 30 minutes before it happens. All right. So we'll check y'all out later.